Tell everybody when you're starting.
Let me check here. Hello everyone. Here we are today with Kevin. If I have to, okay, here. Hi Kevin. How are you?
I'm good. How you doing, Lucas?
I'm good. Just kind of all over the place here, trying to figure all these little things here as I'm streaming by myself. So yeah, today we are here with Kevin. We're going to be talking about movie trailers. We're going to be talking about what makes trailers good, how you want to go about cutting them. And I think for me, just preparing for the show, it was a lot of fun just looking at these trailers. Kevin, did you enjoy looking back
Oh,
at different films?
oh yeah, for sure. Like it's actually funny because I haven't actually. When you think of a movie, you think more of the movie and not of the trailer. So it's going to be neat to go into detailing the actual trailer and see why a trailer is important in the filmmaking process. So
Right. Okay, so here the reason why Tom is not here. So Tom is in France. He is in trenches. He got hired there to do working. They're working on a documentary about the Canadian soldiers in World War One. Actually, Canada. That's an interesting fact. Canada lost more soldiers in World War One than World War Two. So there were a lot of sacrifices made by Canada, and here Tom is working on this documentary, but he's supposed to check in on me and on the stream. He's supposed to join us in one way or another. So in terms of what we're going to be doing today, let me just go here to my notes. Let's make sure that we are streaming here. Yeah. Okay. So just wanted to. So the plan for today is. Hold on. We're going to show some cool trailers, and I want to also. We're going to have the gear tip line draw as every week, and yeah, and then if there are any questions, we'll take those too. All right. So I think, hold on. So many things to think about. How does Tom do it?
oh, I know it's a lot.
Yeah. All right. So here I've got my notes. Yeah, I wanted to show. We'll start with your trailer, Kevin, that you picked, which is Alien from 1979. So maybe I'll just play that, and then we can talk about it. Yeah. Okay. Just a moment here as I'm figuring this out. Where's my first video? Right here.
Doesn't look like.
It's showing me the playlist for some reason.
Oh, okay. Maybe I grabbed the wrong link. Hold on one second.
No. It's on my end. Hold on. I'll figure it out. For some reason now I cannot see my videos. I can only see the playlist. Okay, that's interesting. If I click here. Oh, that's not good. Alright. Restart. Sorry. All right. We are back. All right, Kevin. So that's a classic. Uh, when was the year that the film came out? Actually, it was
1979 was the year of that film. So the reason you asked me to pick 3 for the show, so that was number 1, and a lot of people online had picked that as well. And most of the reasons are it scared the heck out of everybody. I was only about 2 years old in 1979, so I never actually got to see it in the theater. But the emotional impact of that trailer still resonates today because of the whole horror industry. But the other thing I really liked about it was that it sold a lot of tickets to the movie, but at the same time, it didn't give away a lot in the film at all. Like, you saw a bit of horror and you saw that there was some kind of alien running around or whatever, but in the end, it did really justice to the film because it didn't give it away. So that was my impression of it.
And did you see the trailer before watching the movie, or obviously? Like,
no. Actually, no, I didn't see the. I mean, I saw the movie several years ago. I haven't watched it recently, but elements for the movie I remember, seeing, and it doesn't really quite match up with. I mean, there's one scene there where they're running through hallways and stuff like that, or the spaceship or whatever, and that is in the movie. But I mean, there's a ton in the movie you don't see in the trailer, so that's what I took away from it.
Yeah, so we'll get more into that, like why you might want to do that, But at the same time, I wanted to mention that there's so many trailers, versions of trailers, that the distributors make, because they're trying to target different audiences and so on. And for me, even I was trying to I picked movies where I saw trailer before seeing the movie. And pick trailers that actually impacted me, got me to go to see the movie in the theater. And overall, yeah, for me also in general, it's the short trailers that don't give away too much that draw me in. But it's sort of, yeah, now it's kind of there's so many different trailers out there. So as I was looking through these different trailers, I wasn't even sure, is that the trailer I saw or not? There's so many variations of trailers, but actually, when I was looking at also other people's, like IndieWire has a good article about best trailers, and then when I looked through on that list, they had pretty much all the trailers were like under 2 minutes, again you could see that there were trailers that kind of got you pulled in, but not really gave away too much, where they seem to work the best. But we can get more into it later on why that is the case. Now let me. Here, should have switched to myself earlier, but let me see my notes. So the next one, so the next one is from me. It's Braveheart, and actually I'm going to show you two versions of a trailer for this film. Let's go here now to the VLC, and now.
I love you. Always have. I want to marry you.
And I you and no other.
I came back home to raise crops in the family. If I can live in peace, I will.
We will be more merciful than they have been. We'll spare the women and the children. For all else, no mercy.
I want this Wallace's heart on a plate.
Where are you going?
I'm going to pick a fight.
Well, you didn't get dressed up for nothing.
Go back to England and tell them Scotland is free.
This one will fight forever.
They may take our lives, but they'll never take our freedom!
Every man dies. Not every man really lives.
So that's a pretty cool trailer. Let me just go back to us. Oh, Tom is here.
Oh, hey,
Tom has
Tom.
connected.
Hello, guys. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Hopefully people online can hear you.
Yeah, I can hear you as well.
All right. So I don't know. Did you get to see any of the trailers so far, Tom, or not really?
No, I was like literally as you guys, I guess, started the show. I had to, unpack
Yeah.
and everything. So
We showed. So we're showing cool trailers today. We picked some of our favorites, and so we started with Alien, classic, right? And then again it was like that was Kevin's pick. It was and it was really like this very short trailer that really doesn't give away too much, but as Kevin said, it really scares you, and but it gets you I think interested in the movie. And then we just showed Braveheart, and Braveheart I think is one of my and also your favorite movies. And do you remember seeing the trailer before going to the movies? Can you hear me? Tom, can you hear me? Not really.
Braveheart. I mean, what's that?
Oh, there's a big delay between us. There's a big delay.
Yeah, there is. I think the connection here I'm having is really bad. I can try to maybe. Hold on, maybe I'll connect again. So you guys carry on with the show.
Okay.
Okay.
Let me just hold on. Don't like doing that. Let me see here. Just actually because there's I promised 2 trailers from Braveheart, and then the first one I played to you was actually the modern one, the one I like, and I wanted to compare it to the first one here. Here it is. Yeah. Okay, so let's look at the older version, like the original trailer for the movie. It's very similar, but there's something that I want to discuss.
I came back home to raise crops and, God willing, a family.
So you want me to marry you then?
Well, that's a bit sudden, but all right.
Is that what you call a proposal?
I love you. Always have. I want to marry you.
In a land of timeless beauty, William Wallace was a man of peace.
I want to stay here with you.
And I with you.
You say you want to stay out of the troubles? If I can live in peace, I will.
But when they threatened his world,
Edward Longshanks is the most ruthless king ever to sit on the throne of England.
Scotland, my land, and the woman he loved,
I want a home and children. It's all for nothing if you don't have freedom.
he was driven to war.
Go back to England and tell them there that Scotland's daughters and her sons are yours no more.
A rebellion has begun.
Under whom?
William Wallace rallies new volunteers in every Scottish town.
We've come to fight and to die for you.
Stand up, man. I'm not the Pope.
Pick a flock of your finest assassins and set a meeting.
My lord, Wallace is run.
So I'm quickly going to switch back to us, and I wanted to ask you, Kevin, do you see any much of a difference in the 2 trailers? The first one is the modern one. I think they released it when it was coming out for on Blu-ray. They were releasing the Blu-ray. How do the two compare for you?
For me, there's a huge difference. The first one really focused on the big battle scenes, more action-oriented. They were obviously, with that trailer, they were trying to attract that kind of demographic, I think. And then in the second one, you got to see sort of more of the story. They gave more of it away, but you also saw less big battle scenes. You saw a couple battle scenes in there, but it was more of the interpersonal. They showed a lot more of... I can't remember whether that's his wife in the movie or not, but there was a dynamic there and some exposition between them. So there was definitely it was definitely targeting. I would almost say like a different segment of the audience that they were trying to bring in, right, for sales. So yeah, definitely clear difference there.
For me, actually, I'm not sure about the second part of the of the trailer, but the first half, I think it's shot by shot the same thing. The only thing I noticed, I might be mistaken about this, but for me, what stood out is the narration in the original trailer, and and that kind of ruined it for me, right? And it still gets used a lot, we see it used still, because sometimes it's a great technique when you have the narration. Basically, you can explain the story much quicker. If the story is complex, you might want to use it, right? But nowadays, I think to me it sounds cheesy when you get that deep voice and telling. And when he was a peaceful man, but when his family was threatened, seems so cheesy. But back in the day, that was the normal, and it still gets used today. But I think, personally, I would stay away from it as much as I could, unless the story is so complicated that you have to use it to kind of get the ideas across. Although in a way, as we'll talk later, maybe sometimes even the focus of a trailer doesn't necessarily have to be explaining this story. But anyway, so yeah. That was the thing I wanted to show, how tastes in trailers change, just like in movies. What might be cool, work well with an audience at one point, and later it's just going to seem totally cheesy. And for me, in general, it's going to be a challenge for me to see a trailer where that kind of a narration doesn't look cheesy. Okay, so
actually, I was just going to add there that when you watch these trailers, you do have to take them in the context of the way things were when those movies were made. I mean, it's when was Braveheart made? It was 1992,
I think.
2,
something like that.
So I mean, it's decades old now. So the way we tell stories is even a bit different now. Hollywood's changed a lot. So when you look at it, you kind of have to you got to take that a little bit into account, I think. As well. So like you said, the voiceover narrative, with the deep voice, Hollywood did that for a period of time, and I remember in that movie and a few others, and that's just the way the style they did, right? So
and now
it's interesting to see that go back.
And now we laugh at it, and then one day what we think is cool, our kids or grandchildren will say, "How did you guys?" And it's so cheesy.
Or it'll come back, in some way.
Maybe. All right, here quickly, I'm just going to check. Okay, so the next one is your pick, The Matrix Reloaded. So that was the second one in the. Correct. Okay, actually going back to Braveheart, you were right. It was 1995. But okay, so this is 2003, The Matrix Reloaded. So let me just try to go to that.
Here we go.
Hiya, fellas.
It's him.
Do we proceed? Yes. He is still
only human.
All of our lives, we have fought this war. Tonight, I believe we can end it.
That's a nice trick.
Upgrades.
Mr. Anderson.
Surprised to see me?
So now he's found a way to copy himself.
Now there's more than one of them. A lot more.
Come on! The machines are digging. They're boring from the surface straight down to Zion.
There is only one way to save our city. Neo. happens if I fail?
Then Zion will fall.
They need you.
I need you.
What if the prophecy is true? What if tomorrow the war could be over? Isn't that worth fighting for? Isn't that worth dying for?
All right, so I'm going to switch back to us. And so why did you pick this one?
I basically picked this one mainly because of the cuts in it. I mean, there was so much action, and the style of this one. They were really trying to pump up the sequel. I didn't actually take a look at the trailer for the first one, but I know this one is probably one of the best ones. It's just visually stunning. The way things flowed into each other in the cuts. I mean, you got to think like how hard it is to edit an entire film and then boiling it down to that short little sequence, and they did it well.
Yeah.
It really did leave you kind of wanting to see more of the film. So it definitely sold tickets for sure. Lots of martial arts. The highway chase scene in particular was a real standout thing for the time. I mean, there's some effects in there that we kind of look at now and go, oh yeah, they can do a lot better. But again, taking it into the context of the time in 2003, that movie just blew everybody away.
Yeah, I mean, it would actually be cool to see the first one, like compared to the trailer for the first one, because the first one is, you introduce the whole idea, and so it's more difficult, because with the trailer you also try to set up the premise of the movie, what's the whole setup, and it's kind of it's difficult to do that, and sometimes that's why you might want to use narration, and as we saw in this trailer, they didn't use narration. It was a very modern trailer. They used just the dialogue lines, and you found out a lot about the story this way. Now I'm just wondering, doing it for the first one would be more difficult, just because it's a totally new concept that you're presenting to the audience, and so it would require more explanation. Tom, you didn't get to see this one as we played it, right? The trailer. You want to add anything to the one?
No.
Okay, so we'll get you on the next one.
Okay.
Let me just now see next on my list. All right, this is it's going to be Inception 2010 movie, and that's a trailer. Like again, it's one of those trailers when I saw it on just as like Braveheart, when I saw it on online. On TV, and I said, I gotta see this movie. So it for sure sold me. So just a moment here. VLC.
There's one thing you should know about me. I specialize in a very specific type of security. Subconscious security.
Is it playing?
You're talking about dreams.
Mr. Cobb has a job offer he would like to discuss with you.
Like a work placement?
Not exactly. We create the world of the dream. We bring the subject into that dream, and they fill it with their secrets.
Then you break in and steal it.
Well, it's not strictly speaking legal. It's called Inception. I'm ready. I found a way home. And this last job, that's how I get there. Dreams feel real while we're in them. It's only when we wake up that we realize something is actually strange.
It's your responsibility. We're not prepared for this.
Dreams collapsing.
I have it under control.
I'd hate to see out of control.
You mustn't be afraid to dream a little bigger, darling.
So, that trailer is packed with stuff, no? With some amazing visuals.
I would say, yeah, it has a lot of eye candy, right? All these amazing like effect shots and stuff, and it kind of introduces the story, but also leaves a lot of that makes you want to go okay, what's happening? What's the like a lot of little questions it leaves you with.
Really high concept.
Yeah, I mean, it's trying to tell, like, as a editor, if you're trying to convey the story. I mean, there's no way you can explain it. After watching the whole movie, you try to explain the story to your friends. It's like there's so many different cool things about it that you probably want to mention, right? That you'll be talking for a while. So for sure was a challenge, but I guess that's again, sometimes you don't need to get too much into the story. Just throw in all the different elements just to show how the film is different, and that might be enough. And then it's more about, I guess, the style, like just to get. It's kind of it's a commercial, right? Trailer, so that's sort of the main thing is just making people excited. Now I like even like how at the end they even like they kind of did all these things you want to do in the trailer, and in the end even they had they found a way to show some humor in the movie, right? That the ending scene was pretty cool. So yeah, for sure, for me it's one of the best trailers ever and one of the best movies ever, and that's part of it. Like, it's two things. Like, yeah, if you have a really good source material, really good movie, then you can imagine that it's much easier as an editor for you to make a good trailer. But the good thing is if you don't have a good movie, you can still make a really cool trailer, right? If you have the editing skills, right? In terms of for trailers. Do you think it's difficult, or?
Yeah, I mean, there is a movie that comes to my mind, which is with Matt Damon. I'm trying to see what movie it is. The one where he's in Italy. He plays, I think it's The Talented Mr. Ripley.
Oh, yeah. I also saw that movie, yeah.
Does that ring true? I mean, it was a movie that was, I'm not going to say it's a bad movie, but it was a movie that was...
slow.
The trailer was really well done.
Sorry.
The trailer was really well done in terms of it really tricked you into thinking it was a movie that was completely different than the actual film was. Because, like I said, the film itself was pretty good. But I went in, I remember when I was going to go watch that film, after watching the trailer, I went in thinking it's like a non-stop action kind of a thriller. And then you watch the movie and it's like the slowest movie ever. I don't know if you guys remember that film. And that's because the trailer was cut like, this music and these little like, fast cuts and these little like moments where the actor looks or something. And then you watch the actual film and it's like there's no like fast action, nothing happening in that film. The whole film is very mellow. Now, not saying it's a bad movie, but it was just a trailer in itself was good, but it did not at all sell you the idea of what you're going to go watch. So the first time I watched that movie, I was disappointed because I was watching the trailer thinking it's going to be this action suspense, and I'm watching this film and I'm like, the hell, this movie's like the slowest. Like, and I remember I was even watching it with my friend and I'm like, when the hell is this action going to begin? And the action is just not beginning, and then suddenly the movie ends, and I'm like, what the? So I left the first time. I was very disappointed, but after that, I remember I kind of gave the movie another try, and then when I watched it with after I forgot the trailer, it was okay.
Yeah.
Did you guys ever like watch a trailer like that where it completely misled you?
Oh yeah, for sure. There's a bunch of movies like that, and they try and sell you on the action. But really, the movie isn't about action, so they didn't, they're trying to attract an audience that's not really going to watch the movie. I think that more has to do with the way they're setting it up for ticket sales. They just think that everybody's into action, or they make a miscalculation, and that type of thing. They're just trying to get people in theaters at that point.
True.
Okay, yeah, I just wanted. I totally agree with the talented Mr. Ripley, and it was a slow-paced movie, but it was a good movie. But yeah, it was sold differently. Although again, like they're different trailers, so maybe they had a trailer that would be more, maybe that would work better for us, but we just didn't get to see it. But I just wondering whether whether it's a good idea really. Okay, so they managed to get you to see the movie, right? But then if you came with a different expectation, then you didn't like it because of it, and that actually might hurt, because then people, especially nowadays, because people right away will leave a review, and then they'll say they don't like it, right? And then again, as Tom said, later on when you looked at it with different expectation, you actually liked it. So it might really hurt their sales, even though they got you into the theater. So I don't know. From the business side, it may not be a good approach. But
sorry, I was just going to say, if you go back to the Alien trailer we watched first, because the cut is so different from the actual movie, it's still a horror movie, and it's scary as hell in the trailer. But when you go to the movie, you come out of the movie feeling like you watched a great movie still. So I think it really depends on how they approach it, what they cut, what they don't cut, and how they sort of put it all together. I guess there's perceptions too. I mean, certain people expecting if they cut too heavy and go to too much action, and then it becomes an action movie, and they don't see an action movie, they go away feeling, well, this wasn't an action movie. But if they go into a horror movie, they know it's going to be a horror movie. It still has horror elements, but they haven't shown everything in the trailer. They still come away with something, right? So they could do the same for action. I mean, there's no reason they can't. It's just.
No, I think.
But why do you guys think that happens? I think I don't know. I'm personally thinking that the reason why that happens is trailers that are cut really fast nowadays. Like I'm kind of noticing that as time progresses, trailers are cut even faster, even more intense. Just makes it, I guess, more impactful, more kind of like wow, has this kind of that wow factor. But then, like I said, it's I guess sometimes it just doesn't suit certain movies, but yet it at the end of the day makes the trailer look more exciting. So the studios are hoping it's going to get more people in the theaters. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it's a strategy, but I think it long term, I think it backfires. Like when you gotta sell the film right, and you want to get people excited, you want to get them to come to the theater with the right attitude, because as long as if you mislead them in any way, then people will not be kind in terms of the reviewing the movie, but really you want the people get them excited, but then the movie has to actually not just deliver what you expected, but has to deliver more than that, right? Has to give people more than that. That's how because it's not just about meeting expectations, actually exceeding expectations. But I think.
Have you guys seen any recent trailers that are actually very slow?
That's a good question.
Nothing comes to mind. I think I did see something, but
let me know, guys. Also, those of you who are watching, in the comments, if you guys seen any trailers for, especially American films, because I think maybe some European films they still are. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think European cinema is still kind of okay with slowing things down in trailers and in films. But let us guys know whether you found any. You've watched it recently or whatever, any movies with just a slower trailer.
I actually want to. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say one of the picks that I did send to Lucas was Citizen Kane, and the trailer for that one is a very old school approach, and there's a lot of exposition, so it is very slow, and you'll notice Hollywood used to be that way. There used to be a lot more talking. There used to be a lot more build up to a film, because that's what people expected, and that I don't know whether that's more of a generational sort of approach or just a change in marketing over the years, but Tom's right. I mean, most of the movies now they're trying to go for high impact, bring people into the theaters, and maybe this is another topic we could talk about at some point. I don't know today or not, but how has film changed over the years, and sort of where do we see it ending up? Is it struggling now? Maybe that's one of the reasons.
Mm-hmm. Might
I don't know. What do you guys
I mean,
think?
I've seen some movies. I guess they're more like indie films, but kind of those big budget indie films. But I've seen some movies not too long ago that are fairly slow, and they're good movies and everything. So I mean, there are definitely movies like that being made, but not from studios. Yeah, like the studio films. I mean, I also think that pretty much now studio films are pretty much all superhero films. I mean, it doesn't seem like they're that interested. You kind of see more of these kind of slower films from these kind of newer, online studios like Netflix. For example, from Amazon Video, I started watching with my wife the Marvelous Miss Maisel, this show. Very cinematic, like almost like a series, but it's almost like a film, and it's cool. It's kind of slower pace, and it's just I don't know. I liked it. So there is definitely content like that being produced, but it seems like it's not being made by those multi-million-dollar, like hundreds, of millions of dollars or whatever, like those really top budgets. That's all reserved for like the action, special effects, that kind of stuff.
Okay, just wanted to kind of move on and get into talking about some kind of in terms of approaches that you want to take when cutting a trailer. I'm happy that Tom, you are here. And actually, next video we're going to see is a trailer of our documentary Montanita. And,
oh God!
and yeah, I think Tom, you'll agree that the way the movie feels and the trailer feels are very different.
Oh, maybe. I don't know. I haven't watched it, but just as a disclaimer before you play it, that was I basically have no experience or not much experience editing trailers, especially at that time. Montanita? And I was just like, okay, yeah. And then when I was editing that trailer, because that was kind of edited, I don't know, I think you're going to show the first one. Is it the early first one before?
The one that's popular on YouTube, that it has a lot of views.
So I would have to watch it. But the first one I remember was filmed before we even finished shooting the film, so yeah. It was edited before we finished shooting, so there was very little footage to work with, and so go easy on me, guys.
No, I love the trailer, that's why I'm going to show it, but because I think it's has a really cool feel to it, and the music in the trailer is a big part of it, but I think you did a good job. I don't know, I guess you're being harsh on yourself. But I also wanted to mention it because it's the documentary is way slower. The pace is very different, and that part of it is because you edited the trailer, and then I edited the movie, and there was a disconnect, right? So that's why the style of the two pieces is very different. But just okay, so I'm going to now go into some of these. Some advice about how you want to approach, editing. And so Tom, I hope I can get a lot of input from you. But part of it is, and I also was looking at a few different articles from people who have a lot of experience with editing trailers, and so I'm going to reference those articles in the description of the video. But here there's one thing that many people were saying, that in trailer the style is more important than the substance, than the story. So it's about, again, like trailer being like a commercial, and you want people to get excited, and then sort of like your focus should be not so much I want to get the story across, because it's very limited what you can do and you cannot do justice to the story in a trailer, but it's more about what kind of a feeling you create, like what kind of whether emotionally you'll engage the audience, whether the trailer is going to be memorable, like for me, Inception or Braveheart so many years later.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree with that, except you obviously never want to, first of all, to give away the whole story in a trailer, but you do want to give away and explain the hook. Like every movie has a hook, right? That whatever is the main, kind of this little biting thing that hopefully makes you want to, watch the rest of the film. So that hook, you want to make sure you show that in the thing, because if you don't, then, like I said, it could be the coolest looking, like a whole bunch of images and stuff, but if there is no hook, a lot of people will not go, right? That's why it's called a hook, right? So you need to really explain that story hook, right? That thing. So and I would say also a good trailer is going to leave people with a lot of questions that they want answered. So they're going to see it and be like, oh my God, okay, so what happened there? What does that mean? Or, and then they're going to be like, I would say a good example of that was the movie Arrival. Like, it really set it up, and then that really left you going, okay, which was also good because that was kind of the film, the longest part of the film was a whole bunch of these questions, right? So.
Okay, Kevin, if you want to jump in, let me know. Otherwise, I'll move on. I wanted to show the Montañita trailer. I think is really cool.
Yeah.
But
yeah, sure, go ahead.
Okay.
Ooh, Lordy, trouble so hard. Ooh, Lordy, trouble so hard. Don't nobody know my trouble but God. Don't nobody know my trouble but God. Ooh, Lordy, trouble so hard. Ooh, Lordy, trouble so hard.
El nombre Montañita nos da a pensar en una pequeña montaña, pero en realidad tiene un gran significado. Lo especial que lo hace no solo es su naturaleza, sino son las personas que llegan ahí. Al principio había un pequeño pueblo de pescadores y con el tiempo sus buenas olas atrajeron a los surfistas. La infraestructura no era un problema para ellos, ya que alzaban sus carpas en la playa y les servía para dormir. Era un paraíso. Como todo secreto, no se puede mantener por siempre. Entre más personas llegaban, existían más problemas, como las drogas, la polución y los delitos. Hoy en día, Montañita tiene hartos hoteles y restaurantes, pero sin dejar atrás su espíritu libre y errante.
All right, so we'll switch back here to Tom and Kevin. Kevin, okay. Oh! That's so funny. Hold on, let me stop this. For a moment, I thought that somebody, either Kevin or Tom, you guys were snoring. Because I heard from the next movie, Bruce Almighty. I hear snoring. What's going on? Is Tom so tired?
No.
Is the show going so badly?
I am tired though. I just literally came back from a 10-hour shit day, so
yeah.
And I haven't eaten much for the whole day, so I'm like just literally waiting till I can get off. Not because I don't want to be part of the show, but because I really want to eat. Plus, I gotta charge batteries, upload footage, and everything because tomorrow again we're waking up early. So.
Well, we'll get you go soon. But Kevin, I don't want to put you on the spot, but how did the Montañita trailer play for you?
Well, I didn't have audio, but from what I saw, it looked really good. How long was the trailer in total?
I'm not sure actually. I think it's about more than 2 minutes. But yeah, if you didn't hear the audio, then again the big thing was the music, and so it's a really good way to, I guess, maybe to the next to talk about the importance of music in trailers, because it's again.
Let me know, by the way. Sorry to interrupt. Let me know, guys, what you thought of my first really trailer that I edited. I mean, there was another trailer I edited for Under Black Skies, but this was like my whatever. Let me know what you guys think of my editing job.
Tom, I've got the Under Black Skies trailer ready to go.
Oh.
Later on we won't get to it for sure today, but I was going to show it too.
So the Montecito one was the first one you edited for a trailer, then, Tom, or?
No, I edited, like I said, for this other film that we did, a little trailer, and then Montañita was, I would say, the first time I really was kind of like studying how trailers were being edited, because I've edited at that point, lots of films, but I never edited any trailers. So I was really kind of studying that, and yeah, that's what I ended up with.
Well, I think. Just from what I saw there, I mean, like I said, I didn't have the audio on, but I thought it was fine. I mean, the content really kind of dictates the trailer as well. I mean, it goes back to that point I said about if it's an action movie, you're going to cut for action sequences, but you don't want to put everything in it, right? So, I mean, with your content, it's mostly about scenery and the story behind the life in that place, right? So I just from the visuals, it looked good. So just my opinion.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you.
So yeah, here just wanted to mention, you guys, approaching your preparing to cut your trailers, you want to think about for sure like the rhythm and the structure of the trailer, because it's a short piece, but it also needs its structure, needs its rhythm, and the big way to achieve that is by using music. Now, so usually, so big decision, I guess, is do you use music or not? And most movies trailers do use music. Tom, you haven't edited anything that doesn't use music, right? In terms of a trailer.
No, I mean I don't have much experience really editing many trailers. It's the only trailers I've edited is for like our stuff that we did, like our little projects, or our films. I do not take on any editing job for other people editing trailers. Just confident enough in it. It's definitely it's a skill onto its own. Like you may know how to edit a film, and a good film editor isn't necessarily a good trailer editor. I think because I think that the hard thing about a trailer is it's so much packed into such a small amount of time. And like you said, but you still want to have a rhythm in like a beginning, middle, and end. And I think film editors are kind of looking at it more from, okay, I gotta emotionally tell a story. So each scene has to have its own sort of emotion, but then also how that emotion and transition from one scene to the next kind of goes. So film editors will definitely approach it differently than I think people who edit trailers. And so far, from my experience, I've never met a good editor who's like really amazing at editing trailers and also really good at editing films.
Oh, really?
It might be like okay, but
really,
yeah, I haven't.
It's a special skill.
Yeah. And same thing. Yeah, same thing with like I would almost say I found some people who are really good at editing music videos, especially those really kind of hip kind of upbeat kind of songs. And they're really good at editing those, and they're also good at editing trailers. I've met editors like that.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I was just going to add one point to that, which was a good trailer doesn't necessarily have to have an ending. It could have the sort of Act 1, Act 2, but if you throw an Act 3 in there, sometimes if you're not careful, you can actually ruin the movie, right?
Well,
so
what do you mean though? Like I think there's always an ending. It's just maybe it's an open-ended ending. You know what I mean?
Well,
like,
more of a cliffhanger. Yeah, like
cliffhanger.
Yeah,
right? That's what I mean. Yeah.
Well, here I would say, again, like just sharing advice from other filmmakers, was that you do want to have so you need a structure. So you actually, oftentimes you will want to go with a three act structure in a trailer, but that shouldn't correspond to the movie structure, right? So different acts, but basically you want to, first you start with explaining the story, like the setup, and then you want to introduce the problems that the character is going to face. What are the big obstacles, right? Things just start going really bad for the characters, and then in the third act, again, it's like just very general rules, but you end the trailer with some, like, you just rise the tension, you show the higher stakes, and again, without really resolving anything, right? But yeah, there's so many different ways, like we saw in that Inception video, that they kind of finished it with comedy, right? Even though film was very high concept and lots of cool action, incredible visuals, and then they finished it off with comedy. And so for sure there's a lot of opportunity to be creative when you're editing a trailer. But anyway, if you don't, going back, using music, not using music, if you not going to use music, then for sure you still need to spend a lot of time on audio, on sound, because you will need some key sounds that will help you create that the feeling for the scenes. And also what editors use is music cues, like that to kind of move on maybe to the next act in the trailer, right? Not in the story. And so if you don't have music, you still have to pay a lot of attention to the audio for sure. You'll just be using sound design, some good sounds to help the trailer, right? To give it a rhythm, to give it a feeling, right? And And again, but again, most filmmakers will end up using music. And I guess in terms of editing, Tom, so this is something we made a mistake on one time, but it wasn't where I started creating like this piece, that not a narrative piece, it was about the piece about Florida, where I started editing the video and then looked for the music. Well, with trailer, it's similar. For sure, it's the same way, where if you're going to use music, first pick the music, and then on top of that, add the visuals, right?
Yeah. I mean, music will dictate a lot, especially in a short piece. So, the pacing, all that stuff is going to be kind of done. Not that you have to cut, down to every beat in the song, but even just, just the feel of the music, whether it's, upbeat or not, all that stuff, that will dictate kind of how fast, more or less, you're editing and things like that. So I would always say start with that. Now, like you were talking about the other things, even when you're not editing to music. If you're, for example, doing, a trailer that, let's say, might have no music whatsoever, it might be very low key. There was a trailer I watched it was for an indie film. I forgot the name now, but it was very well done. But you know what it had was the production. I mean, the sound design. Sound design was really amazing on that trailer, and it was these little things of like this ambient sound you hear in the background, and then like footsteps in the distance and things like that. And then just the few lines in the film that they showed in the trailer, and it was very effective. It was for like a kind of post-apocalyptic kind of a horror film. And I'm trying to remember the title of that film now, but I can't. Really, really good film too on its own. If I remember, I'll post it up in the chat. But yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I mean the benefit of not having music is the focus shifts right to the actors' performances and to those sounds. And so there's always an opportunity, there's a trade-off. We're almost, we're 1 o'clock here, so we're going to be finishing soon. Just wanted to, just kind of make 2 quick points in terms of how you want to approach cutting a trailer is, for sure do not want, as we mentioned a few times, all of us have mentioned here, you don't want to give away. You want to just, ask, pose questions, get people, puzzle, but you don't want to give away anything. And so one safe way of doing is when you're picking footage from the film, maybe just stick to the first half, right? So Act 1, Act 2. Most of the time, it's not necessary to use much of the second half of the movie. Now, again, it's just guidelines, nothing that you have to always stick to. But it's
it's a good tip actually.
Yeah, one safe way to make sure you never resolve anything in the movie. Okay, there's a whole bunch of trailers that I was excited to share, and that kind of would really exemplify what we're talking here about in terms of different editing techniques. And there's more advice here I wanted to share, but it's 1 o'clock, so let's do our draw, and then maybe we might come back to trailers some other time. But let me do that.
I would love to actually. I would love to, like, once I'm back in the studio too, where I can properly join and you guys can see me, because like I said, I'm on location filming in France, so I'm it's a little difficult. It was today for me, but I would love to also, I think it's an interesting topic, Lucas. So
because Kevin had more cool choices here that I wanted to share. I want to show Citizen Kane. I want to go all the way back to show Hitchcock movie and a few different things that.
All right, so Kevin, if you're up for it, let's do it again.
Absolutely, I'm on board.
All right. Now Kevin is our guest of honor. So let me make sure I'm showing the right thing. Okay, so I'm going to do the draw. So let me now, if I can do this successfully. All right, so here, Tom, always trying to impress you here. We've got this gear tip line prize draw. Stepping it up again. All right, so we click on it, and so this week it's $150, and so we now, Kevin, you're the guest of honor, so we'll let you pick between, please, if you could pick a number from between 1 and 114, and that's going to be the winner of this week. Can you pick a number for us, please?
Okay, 99.
99. Is that Wayne Gretzky fan speaking? All right, so the winner is Howard Griffin. So Howard, congratulations! And,
congrats, Howard!
Congrats!
yeah, we'll contact you shortly, and you can pick your price up to $150. And for all of you who have not participated in the contest, I encourage you to do that. Encourage you to do that. There's so next week we are going to do a draw. Actually, the price might actually be bigger than we originally planned because some of the previous winners, they didn't max out the prizes, so we'll be able to give away something better than we planned. So should be for sure.
That's always good.
For sure, at least $150. You know, for sure, at least $150 prize available for next week. And and then actually, since it's going to be the last of the month, the last pick of the month, so we are actually, Tom and I are going to pick our favorite comment, right? So it's not going to be just random this time. But again, all of you who have already left comments and made submissions for the contest, you are still eligible for the last draw, for the next draw. And then again, if you want to join and submit something this week, please do so. So because it's going to be a cool prize that you can pick, and then we'll keep on going with these prizes as long as you guys participate. So please share your tips on gear. If you have any experience with with gear, you want to share what's good or what's bad about certain gear, if you could share that with all of us on our website, that would be great. So if you could just visit tomantosfilms.com, and then you'll see the banner there for gear tip line, and you can leave your input and win some cool prizes. You'll have a good chance. Kevin, Tom, thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. This was awesome.
So we'll do it again, right?
Yeah, for sure.
All right.
Yep.
Tom,
more trailer talk.
Rest up, eat. When are you back?
Yeah.
In the USA?
I still not 100% sure. I was supposed to be back on Wednesday, but don't tell my wife. Might have to stay an extra day. If you're watching, Chris, I'm sorry. Well, no, it's still. I'll probably most likely be back on Wednesday. I gotta. We got some catching up to do. But anyways, it's I think it's a lot of work, but to be honest, it's always fun when you know the project is finished and then you got everything in the can and you can then come back and not have to worry about it. So.
You mentioned the GH4 died on you?
So we might have to look at replace our GH4, GH5 maybe. You know how in the review I said if you have the GH4, maybe it's not worth upgrading to GH5.
GH5 is a great
camera. and it just died. I'm gonna see. I don't think it's completely dead, but it was working great, and then today, halfway through the day, it just kind of stopped. So I'm gonna kind of try to see also if I can fix it tonight. If not, then I'm gonna be left with one camera. But and then we're gonna have to start planning what we're gonna upgrade it with, Lucas.
All right.
Let me know, guys. Also, your suggestions. What do you think we should invest in now that the GH4 that we have looks like it died? It's been many years though, right? We've had that camera.
I was going to ask you, was it, I don't know what year, how many years has it been?
2009, I think it was.
Oh, really?
I think it was.
No, I think a bit later. But anyway, our memory is not the best.
A bit later, yeah.
I think back then we were still using the Canon 7D. Canon 7D used that for a long time too.
Oh, no. Yeah, no, it came out in 2012.
So the year it came out, that's when you bought it, right?
Yeah. I mean, I got it right as it came out, so.
All right.
Let me know, guys. Yeah.
Okay,
suggestions.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for joining us, and I wish everybody a good week, and see you next week. Bye.